I gave Andrea some ideas and questions I might ask, and she very graciously didn't give me any idea, so I'm going to let you go first, Andrea. I'm so glad you're here, president of our city council, a woman who has really worked for justice in the city and across the country. She is a nationally and internationally known leader, and we're so lucky to have her here today.
Well, good morning, everyone, or I think it's still morning. Yeah, it's still morning. 5 more minutes. Good morning. My name is Andrea Jenkins, and I'm the president of Minneapolis City Council. I'm really honored to be here with you all this morning to just conversate, to share some thoughts, some ideas about some of the topics that David spoke of, particularly healing, which it has been forefront on my mind. The entire city has been upended by the murder of George Floyd and the subsequent uprisings. Mary talked about loss and grief. I think we're collectively grieving all of the people that we have lost to the coronavirus and its various variations that have taken 1 million people from us in this country. The grief of those losses, as well as I think the deeply divided discourse that we are experiencing in our nation, in our city, in our neighborhoods even. I represent the area where George Floyd was murdered. And there are varying ideas about how we should rebuild that community, how we should come together, whether we should even rebuild that community. And I think a lot of people are stuck. If any of you have been through that intersection or been to that intersection, which, by the way, we just named George Floyd Square this past council cycle. But you can see that it's sort of like I describe it as like a clogged artery. And when you have a clogged artery, it sort of backs up everything else. And it feels like that's where we are as a city. We're stuck. There are some signs of hope. There are some signs of optimism. The fact that Derek Chauvin was found guilty, and hopefully the other 3 officers who were involved in that murder will be found guilty as well. Those kinds of things offer some hope. Last week, or 2 weeks ago now, the Minnesota Department of Human Rights came out with a scathing report about our police department. But I view that as an opportunity. It's a chance for us to take heed to the recommendations and the findings that were listed in that report, and to be able to really try to address some of those things. So there is some hope, there is some optimism, but I think it's going to be a long time before we are able to, quote, return to normal, if that's a possibility even. I think we have to think about what will be our new normal in this day and age. So, I really hope that this is a dialogue, David, and I guess I would ask you,
Yep.
how did you manage through those 2 years of our entire city being shut down?